A very warm welcome to today's edition of Money Moves. I am Melissa Enoch here at the FMDQ studios in Lagos.
And I am Grace Agbaragu. It's Tuesday, the 7th of October. We thank you for joining us at this time on the show.
All right, then let's tee off with your news now in Angola. Angola is returning to the international capital markets with dollar-denominated 5-year and 10-year bonds, according to a regulatory notice issued today. Tentative pricing for the notes is indicated at about 9.75% and 10.50% respectively, with final pricing expected later in the day. The issuance forms part of Angola's 2025 financing strategy, which targets a total of $6 billion in fundraising through debt instruments to help meet the government's $14.9 billion financing needs for the year. In earnings news, Kenya Power has reported a 19% decline in profit after tax to 24.5 billion Kenyan shillings for the financial year ended June 30, 2025, as revenue from electricity sales dropped 5% to 219.2 billion shillings. Gross profit slipped 4% to 74.6 billion shillings, while operating costs rose 8% to 42.4 billion shillings. Earnings per share also declined 19% to 12.54 shillings. The board declared a final dividend of 0.80 shillings per share, with book closure set for December 2nd, 2025, and payment scheduled for January 30, 2026. In Zambia, the Common Market for Eastern and Southern Africa, COMESA, is hosting its business forum, bringing together policymakers and private sector leaders to discuss regional integration, investment, and trade opportunities. Let's take a listen.
COMESA is one of Kenya's key markets and a significant source of raw materials. Overall, Africa accounts about 42% of Kenya's export market. COMESA makes up 11% of this, behind the East African community, which makes up 30%, and the rest of Africa at just 1%. It's worth noting that all EAC members except one are also members of COMESA, making both regional blocs vital to Kenya's economy. This highlights the need for us to strengthen our ability to source goods from within COMESA. By increasing the current 11% sourcing from African markets, we can significantly boost intra-COMESA trade. Looking ahead, the TFTA, which unites the EAC, COMESA, and SADC, are expected to play a crucial role in addressing the challenges of overlapping memberships, while also expanding the opportunities of Kenya and other COMESA members to benefit more from regional integration. Manufacturing is central to economic transformation across COMESA members. Here in Kenya, the sector contributes to employment, value addition, and regional exports. At CAM, we strongly believe that industrialization is the engine for inclusive growth, and we are committed to deepening our role and driving sustainable, competitive manufacturing across the region.
Africa Finance Corporation has had its long-term issuer credit rating of A3 affirmed by Moody's Ratings, a grade it has maintained since 2014. Moody's also confirmed a stable outlook and reaffirmed the corporation's short-term issuer rating at P2, reflecting its strong credit profile. The decision reinforces AFC's position as one of Africa's highest-rated investment-grade institutions and highlights its solid financial management and stable operational performance. In other news, Kenya Commercial Bank has released its latest sustainability report, highlighting gains in green financing, social impact, and governance targets. The bank says the report underscores its commitment to responsible banking and sustainable development as it expands climate-friendly lending and community initiatives across the region. Let's now listen.
So this year, we gave a public commitment to be able to support small and micro businesses to the extent of 150 billion as an industry. We are happy to report as of today, we've surpassed that target. We are at 201 billion Kenya shillings in support of small and micro, not medium. Those are the very basics of our businesses. And as I've indicated, data indicates that we are at 98%. So it's part of our mandate, again, as banks, to ensure that we reduce that component of the 98%, because we should not be proud of having a country where all businesses are small and micro. So I'm happy to note that KCB is heavily involved in lending to this ecosystem, and the goal is to move these businesses from informal, small, micro to medium enterprises and eventually large ecosystems. Because we need to envision a situation where we are having close to 30% of the economy being within the medium and large enterprises.
Finally, on News Now, the World Bank expects sub-Saharan Africa's economies to grow by 3.8% in 2025, up from 3.5% projected in April. The latest Africa's Pulse report cites stable prices, easing monetary policies, and stronger exchange rates as key drivers, with countries like Ethiopia leading the recovery. The bank says regional growth could average 4.4% over the next 2 years, though fiscal consolidation may slow momentum in some economies. Growth forecasts were upgraded for 30 of the region's 47 economies. I am Melissa Enoch, and that's it on this Tuesday's edition of News Now. The show returns shortly with Grace for our markets round at the FMDQ Archives Room. Stick around. Welcome back to Money Moves. Let's now go over to Grace for today's markets reviews. Hello there, Grace.
Thank you, Melissa. Let's now track how the markets are wrapping up for the day, starting off with equities. In North Africa, the EGX saw gains of 0.01% after yesterday's loss. Africa's biggest exchange, the Johannesburg Stock Exchange, lost 0.38%. In East Africa, the Nairobi Stock Exchange slipped 0.78% to 176.28. The BROVM in Abidjan shed 0.58% to 327.75. And here in Nigeria, the NGX closed on the positive, up 0.12%. Let's do a quick round on some of the Pan-African currencies. The rand strengthened 0.14% to 17.19 per dollar, while the Egyptian pound gained 0.07% to 47.55. The CFA franc appreciated 0.49%. The Moroccan dirham rose 0.13% to 9.12, while the naira weakened 0.21%. Let's switch into the commodities data deck, beginning with energy prices. Oil prices pulled back after Monday's gains. Brent crude fell 0.87% to $64.90 a barrel, and US WTI slipped 0.81% to $61.19. Natural gas rose 1.64%, while ROBOB gasoline declined 1.23% to $1.87 as of 13:25 GMT. And finally, two metals prices. Gold topped the 4,000 mark, rising 0.73%. Copper gained 1.39% to $5.10, while platinum dipped 0.54% and aluminium firmed 0.16% as at 13:31 GMT. And that's how money moves markets today. Back to you, Melissa.
Grace, thank you very much for those market updates. And that's it for today's edition of Money Moves. From all of us here at the FMDQ studios, we say thank you very much for watching and bye for now.